latest poll. The poll suggests that Kamala Harris is 3 points ahead, but many pundits say in reality it's just too close to call. Our North America editor Sarah Smith is there for us. Sarah, the last debate is what finished Joe Biden's chance of remaining as president, so the stakes are sky high for both candidates tonight.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, most particularly for Kamala Harris, because this is her first presidential debate. It's the first time beat Donald Trump. The first time that voters will get a chance to really see how she performs under pressure. But it matters a lot. And he really needs to try and back the initiative in this campaign. After all the showbiz razzmatazz at the summer conventions, this race is about to get a lot more scrappy as they go head-to-head in what may be the pivotal moment of this very close race. And the stakes could not be higher. The last time Donald Trump took part in a TV debate, his opponent's candidacy collapsed.
President Trump? I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Kamala Harris insists she is more than ready to meet Donald Trump face-to-face for the first time.
As the saying goes, if you've got something to say,
yay, Kamala Harris!
American voters say they do want to see major change, and that could be tricky for a candidate who has been in office as vice president for the last 4 years. Kamala Harris wants voters to focus instead on the dangers of re-electing Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
Donald Trump has appeared unsettled by Kamala Harris.
Lying, Kamala Harris, lying.
Oh my God.
You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. I'm a better looking person.
No, you're not. Kamala Harris is more better than you. Bloody Donald Trump.
While the summer loving enjoyed by Kamala Harris, both in voter enthusiasm and fundraising, is inevitably fading. In fact, this debate feels so crucial because both candidates are now neck and neck in the polls. This will be Donald Trump's 7th presidential debate.
Oh, bloody no.
With Hillary Clinton in 2016, he loomed intimidating behind her.
Because you'd be in jail.
Oh, that's bad talking about Hillary Clinton.
Harris wasn't taking any nonsense from Mike Pence.
And I want to add that if Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Ha, that's really bad.
Candidates are preparing for this debate tells you a great deal about them. Kamala Harris has been carefully practicing for days on a purpose-built stage. While Donald Trump is discussing policy with some aides, but he won't actually rehearse. He wants to rely on his gut reactions on the night. Both candidates know they cannot afford
Yay,
any mistakes.
Mrs. Kamala Harris.
It could be this
Yay,
debate that
Kamala
decides who
Harris.
claims victory in a
Boo-hoo
week's
to
time.
Donald Trump.
Now, voters do, of course, want to hear about policy from these candidates, but they're also going to be watching to see how they respond to each other. You can see the stage that's waiting for them in a few hours' time, and this is where Donald Trump's going to have to try to beat Kamala Harris without bullying or belittling her. Well, she's actually been taking advice from Hillary Clinton about how to goad him into losing his temper.
Oh,
on
very
stage.
good.
Now, you can watch this debate, but you're going to have to stay up late. The ABC News presidential debate is going to be simulcast on BBC One and BBC News with our special coverage starting at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Sarah, thanks very much indeed. And Katie Razzle will be looking ahead to debate on Newsnight on BBC Two shortly.
Evening, Fiona. Well, Donald Trump's touching down in Pennsylvania in just a few minutes' time. But is it Kamala Harris who's got the most to prove
Yay,
tonight?
Kamala
Or may
Harris.
well be the only US presidential debate of this race. Our big guest tonight, broadcaster Don Lemon, a man who's interviewed them both. Newsnight, 10:30, BBC Two, BBC News and iPlayer.
The TV presenter Jeremy Kyle has said that he feels exonerated after a coroner ruled that his show was not a contributory factor in the death of one of its guests. 63-year-old Stephen Diamond from Portsmouth in Hampshire died of an overdose a week after filming for the Jeremy Kyle show in 2019. He'd failed a lie detector test about being unfaithful to his fiancée, the coroner recording a conclusion of suicide. The former leader of the Democratic Unionist Party, Sir Jeffrey Donaldson, has pleaded not guilty to historical sexual offences. He's accused of 18 offences, including committing rape, gross indecency and indecent assault between 1985 and 2008. He's accused alongside his wife, Lady Donaldson, who's pleaded not guilty to charges related to aiding and abetting. A trial is scheduled for March next year. The cut in the winter fuel payments will go ahead after the government won a vote in the House of Commons. That's despite more than 50 Labour MPs not turning up for it. Just one Labour MP openly voted against the proposal. 9 million pensioners will now no longer be eligible, but those on pension credit will still receive the benefit worth up to £300. Our political editor, Chris Mason, reports.
Autumn by the seaside, a tad grey and bleak, even for the hardy. The TUC is a collection of trades 5 million. Prime Minister. Keir Starmer with a bleak message.
Prime Minister and Labour MP, Labour leader, Keir Starmer. Yay.
A more prosperous, secure and dynamic country is at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't mean it's easy to get there.
The light at the end of the tunnel hasn't been turned off, but it's not exactly blinding, the gist of it. His reception here, warm and upbeat, not rapturous. The winter fuel payment gone for millions of pensioners.
I think in this room there are lots of concerns about the winter fuel payment. We've called on the Chancellor to think again.
And in particular, believe the Labour government's done?
Well, to think again about making sure that they use the budget so that no pensioner goes into the winter worried about putting the heating on.
The truth is, right now, there are pensioners with just that worry. Down the road at a cafe for older people run by a charity, more than a few opinions on the Prime Minister's decision.
I voted Labour all my life.
Do you feel let down by them now?
I felt very surprised.
I'm outraged. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. They say it's means tested.
You can still talk
that's because they
about
based it on pension
because
credit.
it's
But like many a pensioner,
because
I'm
it's
not
the
poor enough
news
for
anyway.
pension credit.
And guess what?
To get the means
So
tested
far, Kamala Harris and Donald
I'm
Trump
lucky in that I've got a south-facing window.
are neck and neck
in my flat.
with the vote.
The sun shines, my flat can warm up a bit.
There's no easy answer.
And it's at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, I think he looks professional.
Kamala Harris and
Being
Donald,
honest with us,
the
to say
debate with
it's not
Kamala
gonna
Harris
be
and Donald
easy,
Trump.
It's not really, because we haven't got the money.
Plenty of Labour MPs are deeply uncomfortable.
And guess what?
Some unwilling to vote for it.
It's with my conscience that I cannot vote for these measures.
Rachel Muscle, MP for Labour.
To find the mitigation which is absolutely crucial.
Opposition parties don't like it either.
These are going to lead to
Mel Stride, MP, Shadow Work and Secretary. Wendy Chamberlain, MP for the Liberal Democrat.
To force vulnerable elderly people to make that choice between heating and eating this winter.
And so the result?
The ayes to the right, 228. The noes to the left, 304.
Oh, so they.
Victory by 120 votes for the government. When you've got a colossal majority, you can win by a mile, even with grumbling on your own side.
Well, Chris Mason's joined us now here in the studio, along with our economics editor, Faisal Islam. Faisal, let's start with you. The government has really stuck to its guns over these winter fuel payments and cutting them, despite considerable opposition. But how significant a saving is it, really?
Well, from an economic perspective, the sort of puzzle, the mystery, was given the political pain, the political counsel.
Oh, yeah. You remember, Faisal Islam was the person who took yesterday's Newsnight programme. Yeah.
And you're left with concluding that the government thinks that some part of this strategy is actually a good idea, that at a time of public spending scarcity, a move towards means testing, rather than universal payments as regards pensions. We've seen the increase in the state pension that has been signalled today, that is a solution to some of the problems we may see applied elsewhere. We heard from the Prime Minister this morning at the TUC saying that there will be more pain to come at the budget in terms of tax, spend and
not that.
And it might be in taking a decision like this.
The budget was ready to read.
Theresa May tried to do this in 2017, couldn't get it through. they have set the bar pretty high, and other painful decisions will be a little easier.
Fauci tried to do this as well, but which he took a beating, sadly.
Well, in terms of defining moment then, Chris, I mean, the government was always going to win this vote, given the size of their majority, but nonetheless, 50 Labour MPs didn't turn up for it. What are you reading?
50 Labour MPs didn't turn up.
First point, we've got to recalibrate what.
No wonder there was more, I see.
Majority on plenty of occasions
To
we
the
spoke
left,
on this programme.
they're the ones that say no.
Where a vote in the Commons
Because 50 Labour MPs weren't there.
Neither of those things were remotely.
So we could have had more people saying
no. Very easily, but it's also true that
we have more people. We could have more people
about this
voting to have more people.
Now there can be many reasons why
they could have more people to vote to allow them to have the payment. But there's more people that wanted to scrap.
Had an unauthorised absence, in other words, not a good enough excuse. We've done a bit of cross-checking tonight, and there's at least 20 Labour MPs who publicly registered their opposition to this policy and also did not vote for it. Now, it is possible that they did that, but also had a reason deemed legitimate not to be there. Two key lessons today: a party with a whopping majority can win and win big, even with a lot of grumbling. And from the Prime Minister's point of view, as Faisal was touching on, probably a good thing, because he says there's lots of other difficult things to come, and he's going to need that majority perhaps in order to get things through.
Okay. Chris and Faisal, thank you both. On a visit to London today, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirmed publicly for the first time that US intelligence agencies believe Iran to be providing Russia with powerful ballistic missiles which are likely to be used against Ukraine. Britain, along with France and Germany, has responded with new sanctions against Iran. Along with the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, Mr Blinken also met the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, where the pair announced that they'll be travelling to Ukraine together this week in the first such joint trip in a decade. At least 19 people have been killed in an Israeli strike in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. The strike destroyed an area within the designated humanitarian zone for displaced Palestinians. The Israeli military said it was attacking a number of Hamas terrorists operating there. The Al-Mawasi humanitarian zone is in the southwest of Gaza. It's being increasingly reduced by the Israeli army, and according to the UN, it now runs to 16 square miles. You can see from this satellite image the location of the attack. It's an area crammed with tents. With the latest, here's Lucy Williamson.
They searched for survivors. In the place, people fled to survive. Gaza's Mawasi safe zone hit by Israeli airstrikes last night. An encampment of displaced families who went to sleep in tents.
Be careful!
Woke up in this.
We got a big window tomorrow that I'm going to make for you.
Even the living stood lifeless this morning. The loss after 11 months of war. Impossible to avoid. Difficult to take in. There had been no warning, survivors said, of the airstrikes that buried families, set fire to shelters. Staff at a UK field hospital said shrapnel sliced them. There are no fighters here, this man says, just displaced people. These are the rockets they displaced.
Oh, not even from, no, they weren't from Team U.
eBay.
Wish?
Don't got it. Slice weapon.
No, I don't like it. I was a Team U at Etsy. Team U at Etsy and...
It's not confirmed. They're among the casualties.
You don't know?
Say women and children are.
No, where we get all our parcels from. Where yeah.
Pinned to the floor in grief. Israel has bombed the Mawasi safe zone several times before, blaming Hamas for using it as cover.
Yeah, read Etsy as well. Team U every and Etsy. Yeah, no wonder we get all those.
Oh, the one that you sorry from.
The tenacious
Yeah, I do
lobby
like them.
of senior consultants may prevent...
And if I want to do another video, Saturday video, I might have to do... They may be very confused, but I think it may have to be another episode 24. No, because the video... No, the video went totally wrong. Because the video went upside down.
Between June 2015 and June 2016.
Why?
The contenders for Conservative Party leader have been whittled down again, this time from 5 to 4. In the second round of voting by Conservative MPs, Robert Jenrick came top and Kemi Badenoch second.
Oh no!
Minister Mel Stride was eliminated. 2 more will be knocked out by their peers before party members choose from the final 2. Prince William has spoken about his wife's cancer journey to well-wishers in Wales on his first public engagement since the release of a very personal video narrated by Princess Catherine yesterday. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace have released details of King Charles and Queen Camilla's state tour of Australia and Samoa next month. It'll be the King's first formal royal tour.
Australia and Samoa.
Our senior royal correspondent Daniela Ruff reports.
King Charles and Queen Camilla.
Rani
and Raja. No, Raja and Rani.
Was looking more positive. I shook his hand and I wished him all the best.
I said, oh please, you were to see the Catherine was feeling from her treatments and how much she's
we could
Thank you, yes, she is better.
A musical welcome at a local primary school.
Very nice to see you.
Where he met pupils and was given presents for his own children, although he warned he'd have to keep an eye on his youngest son.
Keep away from Lou, he'll try to steal all his sister's kids.
From the Princess of Wales yesterday, there was cautious optimism about
he
the
steals Princess Charlotte's things.
and the next stage of her recovery.
Yeah. This was on Saturday recently.
Doctors though have said he's well enough to visit Australia.
The Raja, King Charles III, and the Rani, Queen Camilla Cockaballs, or Queen Camilla Cockaballs.
He won't now visit New Zealand to reduce the amount of travelling. Rest periods have been built into his schedule, and in Australia, engagements will be limited to Sydney and Canberra. It's been a challenging year for the royal family, but the King and Queen's tour of Australia and Samoa, a sign that normal
Australia and Samoa.
resumed. Daniela Ralph, BBC News, Buckingham Palace.
Wait, that's Buckingham.
Football, and Harry Kane couldn't have wished for a better way to mark his 100th appearance for England, taking his team to victory, scoring...
Oh, yeah, but Dun 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 dun
we are happy, happy, happy.
There are plenty this summer.
to Harry Kane.
Almost 10 years ago, a 21-year-old Harry Kane scored at Wembley on his debut. Tonight, his eldest children flanked him as the baton was passed to the latest recruit of the 100 club. For fans at Wembley, it was a fitting honour for the nation's greatest goal scorer.
He's been a captain, a real leader.
It's a good thing I'm going to put this on there.
I've probably seen him score most of those goals. He's certainly looking forward to him scoring a few more.
He's got to score.
Harry Kane Badayani Badaya Sada Halama Badaya Harry Kane Badaya forgetting his 100 goals Badaya Badaya Badayani.
They were giving the crowd little to cheer. This was a game designed with magic touch.
Harry Kane Harry 100 goal Matane.
Kane was on a roll.
Madueke
helped Harry grab the glory. Kane's success is a family affair, but as they celebrated, his night was over. No hat-trick then, but a standing ovation for his ongoing dedication to the cause. Harry Kane, national treasure.
Amen.
Well, this was no classic, but it will surely live long in the memory for Harry Kane. A full circle moment after scoring here on his debut and then becoming only the third Englishman to score on the occasion of his 100th cap. A near decade of dominance. Time sure flies when you're having fun.
Sure does, Natalie. Thanks very much. Time for a look at the weather now. Thomas is here, and Thomas, it's not been the greatest of summers, and it already feels like autumn.
It does. It's certainly knocking on the door. It seems to have come to an abrupt end.
Thomas is sucking up.
Really, and it will do over the next few days. So here's the headline then for tomorrow. There is some sunshine on the way. We've got blustery showers in the forecast.
Sunny spells and blustery showers.
Across the south earlier on, it brought some rain, but behind it we've got these cold.
Oh, we did have rain a lot today.
The colder air is going to establish itself across more northern parts of the UK.
Did Wolverhampton have any rain?
We've got clearer skies across eastern and southern areas, but showers moving into Scotland, Northern Ireland, around Merseyside too. The temperature
oh my God! Look.
No wonder I'm freezing. But in rural spots,
but I'm not. I wore one of the.
No. I think I have to start wearing my leggings and my pajamas.
Showers in Scotland, in Northern Ireland, around the Irish Sea, but they will become more towards the east and also
just after
best temperatures around 15 in the south. That's a
just
5-degree
after
drop compared to what we had today.
On the phone and
it's 11 in the north. Now here's Thursday's forecast. The winds are still coming in from the northern part, but they are somewhat lighter. Still some showers around, but less frequent. On the thermometer, it's going to be about the same, but I think it will feel a little bit better on Thursday because that wind won't be quite as strong. So is it going to get warmer? Is it going to get sunnier? Well, yes, by the time we get to Friday, we've got the Azores High building in, so the winds are going to be light. There'll be more sunshine around. So yes, the weather...
The Azores?
Now, are we going to get into the 20s again? There are indications...
Oh, no, not that again.
Next week, so beyond the outlook, in some
Yeah.
areas, the temperatures should once again rise above 20 Celsius. So summer's not quite over yet, Fiona.
We can but hope, Thomas. Thanks very much. And that is the BBC News at 10 on BBC One. It's time to join our colleagues for the news where you are. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Fiona.
I'm James Boval.
And James Boval. Wearing a black suit. And a white shirt and a light blue, I think.
The charity, which has supported around 15,000 people, has warned of rising costs and a shortage of funding. It comes at a time when many pensioners are about to see their winter fuel allowance withdrawn by the government. Here's our correspondent, Ben Godfrey.
There's a computer cafe giving access to online banking, free home energy checks and advice on benefits.
How dare they destroy...
has been a trusted support for so many. 97 staff have been put on notice of redundancy.
And Ben Godfrey wearing a grey suit and a white shirt.
For fundraising on a much bigger scale, but unfortunately all those have really, we've drawn a blank with them.
I'm
sorry that
I'm so happy about.
to find a solution for this.
That's what everyone should do.
Age UK
But that
warned that 2.5 million older people on low incomes will lose their winter fuel payment when it becomes means tested.
dun, 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 dun.
No toast to this move.
I think it's just because it's taken away, yet again, they take away from those that need it.
I think it would have been far better to have halved and given everybody half.
Exactly, yeah, you are right
Yeah.
there.
I think it
Or actually half, or take, if they get about £3 million,
I think we've seen that in
or 3 million grand or anything,
help to people.
halve their wages and give the rest to poor people from the rich, but they won't do that.
HUK says it hopes its partners across the region will also step in to support people, so no one is left out in the cold as the winter pressures build. Ben Godfrey, BBC Midlands Today, Worcester.
A man's appeared in court charged with murder after a house fire in Wolverhampton. Akashdeep Singh, who's 26, died in hospital following the blaze at the property on Plascombe Road in June.
Plascombe Road in June.
Appeared via video link at Wolverhampton Crown.
Plascombe Road in June 2024.
4 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of arson with intent to endanger life. A man's been jailed for 12 weeks for sending abusive emails to the Birmingham Yardley MP Jess Phillips over the conflict in Gaza.
Oh, that's why it was.
Who's 36 called her pathetic.
Oh, that's why it was.
The Labour MP says she feared physical harm from him and the abuse changed her life immeasurably.
That's sad.
13 trainees have graduated from a film training
Oh, but done, yeah, to them.
Blinders creator Stephen Knight. The young people, primarily from disadvantaged backgrounds, took part in the 4-week initiative in Birmingham, as Ben Sidwell reports.
It's an opportunity that people These are professionals. They're the first set of trainees in a new scheme to find new local talent here in the West Midlands.
It's incredible because we're used to everything being either based in London or based in Manchester. Well, Birmingham's the second city, and I think our representation in the media should reflect that.
The idea is to create a production pipeline of talent here in the West Midlands, and has been set up by the partnership between Stephen Knight and TV production company Kudos.
It's really important that we make sure that this is an industry that employs the people of the city. The same way that when the car industry started up, you know, it was common sense that you use the people in the city to work in the car factories. We need Birmingham and West Midlands people to earn a fabulous career.
It's taken place over 4 weeks at the Boa Stage and Screen Academy in Birmingham, and is fondly known as an industry boot camp.
We got to be professionals and act like we have been doing this role for like more than 100 years, while the truth is that we didn't know anything about this prior to the course. So it really was a hand-on work experience, a real life experience.
All 13 of the trainees have graduated from the scheme and are being teamed up with mentors who will help them take their first steps of what will hopefully be a very successful career in the industry. Ben Sidwell, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
The gold medalist Becky Redfern and her brother Matt have returned from the Paralympic Games to a hero's welcome from their swimming club. Becky won gold in Paris in the 100-metre breaststroke. Matt competed in the same discipline, and the siblings were surprised and serenaded by their Worcester Club swimming teammates.
If I'm honest, I thought I could sneak in and sneak back out, but it's just, you know, I love this club, and to think that I could have inspired like loads of kids in there. We all love swimming, that's why we do it, so it's lovely to see their smiling faces.
Okay, let's take a look at the weather. Here's Shafali.
Hello, a very good evening to you. It's been quite a down day today, but the rain is finally on its way out. However, it's going to be replaced by cold tomorrow and windy conditions with more showers to come. But the good news is that things are starting to steadily warm up over the weekend. It will still, however, be wet. But this is the... And at the moment, we've got a couple of troughs bringing in the... also drawing in that cold air from Arctic along the northwesterlies, which are also increasing. So to flip with clear skies and temperatures values of around 6 or 7 Celsius. The winds are also on the blustery side tomorrow. We've got further showers moving in from the northwest, but there'll be some sunshine in between. Some of those showers could be heavy. We're looking at top temperatures of just 10 to 14 Celsius.
10 past 1.
That's all for now. We're back during BBC Breakfast from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a peaceful evening. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.